you launched your first documentary movie.
Think of it, it comes in my head and I'm just, okay, let's do it. And I do it. So form a price, like how to form an idea about a product. I'm gonna share a little bit about the way we operate and how we navigate through our market. In the West, I would be only a photographer.
So you have like a broad spectrum of clients.
They wanted to present themselves as some guardians of the moral etiquette of the beauty standards.
I wouldn't say that they're like the ones that are creating it.
Yeah, they're just on the bandwagon, TikTok stuff.
Just from like logistics point of view, we had to do quite a bit. Hello and welcome to Ups and Downs, the podcast that shares successful and not that successful stories from the entrepreneurial world. We are in Plovdiv, Bulgaria. We expanded. We are in the studio of a company named Videographer, a social media agency. And our guest today is my dear friend Aleksander Cholakov. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation, and I'm looking forward to chat with you in the next hour and a half.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank
How
you
do you feel? How are you today?
I feel I'm buzzing, man. I'm buzzing to be. That's my first podcast ever in my life. Yeah, before that, I just told you in our interview before this, the podcast, that I had another interview for a radio station.
Okay.
And that was for the festival that I'm organizing. And I believe I'm here to talk about that.
Okay, step by step, yeah. Let's start quickly. Do you mind introducing yourself briefly?
Yeah, so my name is Aleksander. I'm from here, I'm from Plovdiv. I'm 24 years old for now. Yeah, and so from my educational background is I've been through many things in my life. I mean, different spheres of education. So, and my first 7 years of studying, I was in dancing. I had dancing classes at school.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then for high school, I went to electrical engineering school.
Okay.
So I gave up the dancing and I just went for engineering. And I did nothing. I was very bad at school. High school, I was just very bad. And then for uni, because now that I look at it from a retrospect, I see that I like just trying new things, just think of it, it comes in my head and I'm just, okay, let's do it. And I do it. So when I was my last year at high school, it came to my mind to go to abroad to study. And I saw it was free at Scotland, so I just told my parents, let's do it. And they were like, yeah, that's a good decision. So I went to study at Scotland in Glasgow. And there I did media and communications, which is like a half business degree, which means that we do the marketing, PR stuff, and we have another that's a more creative side. And I specialized in video production and documentary production. So that's where I come from. And I feel like it's very good to have a degree that's like this, because you get an idea of the commercial world. Like what things you can sell, how to sell, how to form a price, like how to form an idea about a product, what's a product, like the very fundamentals of the market, how it operates.
Okay.
And on the other hand, you can have practice, experience with, in my case, working with cameras, working with people, the technical stuff, the creative stuff, and gives you a very good knowledge base on how to enter the real life. And now I'm testing the knowledge that I have.
This is what I was going to ask actually, because as I mentioned, we're here in the studio, an office of Videographer. You're part of the company. Do you mind sharing a bit, what exactly are you doing?
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna share a bit about our business model, how we operate. I'm gonna share a little bit about the way we operate and how we navigate through our market. Because that's a very important thing to notice, that in every country, depending, historical context and so on, it's very different. The way people perceive the market and the way the market operates. So as I said, I studied in Glasgow in Scotland, in the UK, which is in Europe. For me, that's the best entrepreneurial country, to be honest. Because I find the people most open-minded, they're willing to take risks, they know how the capitalist market operates, and they're used to it. So I studied there, and for me it was very shocking to find I decided to come back to Bulgaria after, after I finished my degree, I got my degree in media and communications. I worked for half a year in England as a customer support.
Okay.
Yes, I was just selling like gift baskets to like big companies. I was making them offers and so on and so on. So I got a taste a bit of how things operate in the UK. How people talk to themselves about business and so on and so on.
Okay, and then you ended up like in Plovdiv?
Yeah, then I decided to come back because I had enough of that. I wanted to be like back home. And so the first thing like that I found like in Bulgaria, in our context, is like to find a job, you have to know somebody. To find like some level of a job, something particular. So in my case, I'm a content creator. I'm a content creator at our digital agency, digital creative agency.
Social media. Yeah.
Social media and so on. So, okay, let me say what I do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna give her So right here at Vultegra, we are a team of 2. So only 2 people doing like a very broad spectrum of jobs. That's the first thing that is different between like developing markets and developed markets for me.
Okay.
Is that in the developed market, you have, a specific need for a job. So like if I'm doing a content creator in my case, in the West, I would be only a photographer. And that means like I only do photos, I then edit them, and that's all of my job. But here, as a content creator, I have, and especially in a small company, but even in the bigger companies is the same. I have to think about the shoot, I have to think about how to find the models, I have to think how to, where the location scouting, I have to talk with my boss, to disagree on ideas, what to do, what take to have. Then I have to do the market research, like what kind of a photography. Because, you can do like very moody stuff, very cinematic, you can do like very commercial. So that's the big difference that I find on first place. Is like here you're like very broad spectrum of things you have to think about. In the West, you can just be an expert on what you're doing. Pardon?
Yeah, like a very specific niche and...
Yeah, so that's one thing that I'm doing here as a content creator. The other thing that's like we're focusing on TikTok content.
Okay.
Which for me is not the best. Why? Because TikTok...
Personal preferences.
Yeah, on personal preference, I don't think TikTok is a time-worthy platform. Maybe I can shock people, but I think there's no added value to the content because you just do trends. Because if you do I've tried doing some original stuff on TikTok and it just doesn't go.
Okay.
It just doesn't pick it up. The algorithm doesn't pick it. So it just wants to do the same repetitive stuff, the trends, and there's no added value. I can do it with everybody. I can do it with you, with me. We just find like the most trending stuff, some challenge. You start doing it, add a little bit of production value, and then you have it.
Okay.
So that's our business model in a nutcase. So we analyze the TikTok content, in general. And we have different brands that want to reach a specific audience. And as for TikTok, it's a younger audience. So we have clothing brands. We have 2 clothing brands that we are working with. One is Wazarini and the other one is Tyler. And then like for Wazarini is maybe they have 20%, 30% of the market share of all suits that are sold in Bulgaria.
Okay.
Sold, yeah.
The
other one's an Andrews, Theodore.
Yeah. I didn't know that they were that big on the market.
Yeah, they have like basically they have a shop in every big city.
So you have like a broad spectrum of clients. For example, you mentioned right before this talk that yesterday or like the day before you were attending.
We were doing a photo shoot.
Photo shoot for a clinic.
Yeah, for a clinic. It's like a beauty clinic. So the doctors, the dermatologists at the clinic, they just
show the processes and stuff.
Yeah, so for them, we're doing more of a PR campaign, which means it's a beauty clinic, and they're doing fillers, they're doing Botox, all kinds of beauty procedures. So they want to create some aura over of them, like a perception of them. Yeah. So it was that they are, for this particular shoot, they were doing it like last Thursday, 2-3 days ago. It was that they wanted to present themselves as some guardians of the moral etiquette of the beauty standards. And the idea was that we have a model, that we have all of these labels stick to her, and all of the doctors, they just come in and taking off.
When will it be out, like the photo shoot?
Well, maybe next week, but by the time
The episode is live.
it's
Okay.
live, it will probably be out. You can add it as a link.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, and for me, I find this, like, I can speak here for this audience, for the Finnish audience, I think it's made, maybe Finnish Bulgarian audience.
US also.
Yeah, I can be completely sincere, and for me, this is a very. That's what I don't like about the commercial work in marketing, is that the dermatologists, they're doing this, beauty procedures, and at the same time, they want to present themselves that somebody who's guarding the moral etiquette, and they're taking off like all the labels that society puts on women.
Yeah.
All of the beauty standards that society puts on women. So that was the idea of the photo shoot, is that we have written on these labels different messages. So about girls, about women, and the way society stigmatizes them.
Okay.
So it may be like, you're too fat, your eyebrows are not good, your nose is big, you're too thin, and so on and so on. All of these beauty standards that are present in the culture. And the dermatologists are coming in and they're taking it off, and they're dressed in white shirts, and they're like angels, and we have like flowers in the background. It's like very fantastic, like very love story-ish, very romantic. Very romantic. And for me, I don't like it because they want to be perceived like that, but they're the very same people that are creating those stigmas in the community, in the society.
I wouldn't say that they're like the ones that are creating it.
Yeah, they're just on the bandwagon, TikTok stuff.
Yeah. I can see that, like how they might be contributing towards it. But yeah, I think like the viewers, the listeners kind of got perspective of like what the company is doing. But on the other hand, what is your true passion? Because like recently, like you launched your first documentary movie. Do you mind sharing a bit about the topic? I think it's a good start to go towards like.
I will. But I just want to say one last sentence about our company, because I want people to get the full idea. So the thing is, like, we have this expertise, like technical expertise, which means working with camera, working with sound, having the idea. That's the most important, the vision, because we created that vision for them that I'm telling about the clinic. And the other thing is to be able to adapt towards the brand needs. So for Wazzarini, for the styling, for the men's fashion, they're man fashion, but we do interactions on TikTok. So we just stop people and ask them like random questions. So we do entertaining. Okay. But we adapt the entertaining, like popular stuff on TikTok.
Regarding the branding needs.
Yes, and that's what we offer. Like that's the product and service we offer. The product is the videos, and the service is our expertise on how to adapt, your brand towards the market, how to adapt your brand for digital use, let's say, for the digital market. How to be able to market yourself using entertaining methods. Not to be like, we don't do selling products. We don't say like, okay, come buy this from us, buy with this. We just added just a little bit of a notch. But the main thing is entertainment. Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing we do at our company.
Great.
So, as I said already, I'm not completely happy with this thing, because I have other passions. For me, like, I do this as a mean to practice my skill. Camera work, creative stuff, because I have a certain problem and I have to come up with an idea. For this is good, but my real passion is analyzing social issues. That's maybe my biggest passion in life. And how did it come to me, to do the documentary film stuff, to do all of these things, is that since I was a child, because my parents, it's from the cultural context. My parents, they come from the mountains in Bulgaria, which is like, we have a minority population there, it's different ethnically, kind of, than the rest of Bulgaria. And when I was growing up in the city, because we're in Plovdiv, that's the second biggest city in Bulgaria, I sensed that I had a dual personality, because when I go up in the village, I'm speaking with their dialect, I'm behaving differently, and here, I shouldn't mention that, because I would be made fun of. So that was the first time, now that I look at it, that I experienced some kind of discrimination. Not towards me personally, but how our culture discriminates like smaller groups, different people. We have the problem with the Turks, with the Gypsies, and that was what maybe gave me the spark to be interested in social issues, And then it came up like bright to me, like it came up in my consciousness when I went to Scotland, and I was used to like the Bulgarian way of life, the Bulgarian culture. I haven't experienced another culture. And then I went there where like the political
country,
stuff, the different country, no friends, you have to meet new people. And I found out that when you're meeting completely new people in a completely new place, you're meeting yourself also, because you're meeting another version of yourself. Another projection, that's a very good word. And there I found that nobody cared that I'm from Bulgaria, or that I have problems like speaking, because I can't say certain words very good, certain sounds. And all of these things that I was worrying so much about in Bulgaria, they just disappeared in Scotland.
Okay.
And that's that I found that I could be anyone I would like, and I can do whatever I want in society. And that's how I got excited, like to just analyze different cultures and how different societies behave and what cultural norms they have. So that's the thing that I want to do in life, and that's my like biggest passion.
And besides like your, how to say it, like bachelor's thesis or like bachelor's project, that the short movie that you created for through university, you literally 2 days ago was the launch, the presentation of your first. Is it like self-produced movie?
First directorial debut.
Okay.
That's my first film that I directed.
Share a bit more about it. What's the name? What's the topic about it? Who helped you?
Okay, so I made it, as I already hinted about. I made the film about my village that I come from. The name is Zagrajden. So the film is called Proud People of Zagrajden, Gordi Zagrajdenci. And it's about analyzing the typical way of life.
Yes, and the link will be in the description, so
you can check it out. There will be English subtitles by that time. So my concept for the film was like to analyze like the traditional way of life, the village life, through a very authentic viewpoint. So my viewpoint was just doing observational documentary, which means is I'm following people that I know, like in the case I know because I'm from that village, and they're just doing their day-to-day habits, their day-to-day life. So we had 3 protagonists in the film, which is Bat Lubo, who was ex-mayor of the village. He's my cousin. He's he's an electrician, he's a postman, and he's doing all of this stuff that really engages him in the local community. So everybody knows him and everybody calls him for help, and he knows everybody and is always willing to help.
Okay.
So I just decided, okay, let me follow him around the village and like the other villages, the neighboring villages, and see what he does and how he speaks with people, how people speak with him, how they react to him, and which for an audience that's not from there. And I found that even for the local people it was very interesting to see. It's like how like their life from a different viewpoint, and that's a viewpoint that's as authentic as possible, because I'm not scripting it. I'm just following him and just having a genuine chat with him, and that's the methodology that I followed for the film. And then I had 2 other protagonists. One was
maybe you can skip them so the people let's not spoil it. Because I think that the film is like worth to watch. I watched like the first version of it before like the official launch, and now the official launch on Friday. So one final words, and we can say how we will launch the film, because that's I think very worth mentioning. So for the film, for me it was from a personal standpoint. It was something that I was very profoundly interested in, profoundly, because in this endeavor, I find the meaning to spend my days, to think about that, to analyze, because looking at the footage, looking how people behave, I find information about what cultural norms made my parents behave this way, and what cultural norms my parents gave to me, and how I behave, because I have this part is maybe 20%, maybe 10%.
but it's something historical that happened, historical cultural norms that are just being transmitted from generation to generation. And in this way, I'm finding more about myself and more about the place I find in my place in the world. So I found it very profound to do this thing, and it's something that I gave all my heart of. And we can speak more about the market in Bulgaria, regarding this.
We can do it. But yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. And regarding the official launch, I can share a few words before passing the word to you again.
Yeah, I want to speak with you. I want you to have your opinion on this stuff.
So basically, there was an event that took place into Plovdiv, and it was on Friday. It was about very interesting how to put it into words. I would say an art event that it was around 4 hours. There were musicians presenting their new songs, multiple short movies, and many other things. Also, what else was there? I think I'm missing something.
Well, we had art exhibitions.
Oh yeah, the exhibition. Oh my god, I completely.
Yeah, that's a very big part of the thing. Is we have people who we know. We just invited
them to present their art, so to say.
Yeah.
And I think I will try to upload pictures somewhere here.
Yeah, that will be the most edited video that we have probably.
Okay.
Till this moment, we're gonna have a lot of information coming in.
Yeah, and basically, you just launched your movie. There were more than 100 people in the room, in that gallery, so to say.
Yeah.
It was a really, really nice one. So, who was the team behind the movie? Was it just you, or were there
so the movie was shot by me and my very good friend and colleague Ivan Ganichev, is Bichuanka. And the idea was just because I know this guy, and where do I know him from? From networking. And how did we network?
Yeah, this is about the event itself. Let's go back a few months back. Maybe we can start about a year ago. How the idea came.
So about the idea of this type of event. Okay, let's tell the audience that this event is a Zagrajden Film Fest. It's a film festival that happens in the village that I've been speaking about.
3 day also.
3 day festival that's all about bringing young artists.
Human into nature, I would say, and also creativity and art into nature.
Yeah, so the novel stuff, the originality of the event for me comes that we're having all of these different elements of events. So element of art exhibition, element of a film festival, element of a local gathering, element of having a party. Element of just going into a hike into the nature, element of just friends going somewhere.
Combining it.
Yes, and combining everything into something that's unique for the context that we're doing. So in a very, very briefly, we have in 3 day festivals that young people from the cities are coming into the village of Zagrajden to watch films, to have a good time, to party, and just to enjoy the workshops. We had
network also.
Network, and that's how I met Ivan.
Importance of networking.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important in what events you find your networks, because there are different events for different people. That's what.
But I think it was. I don't know how he ended up knowing about this event, because actually you were doing the marketing behind it back then. And besides the Facebook and Instagram ads, I don't know, I don't think any of us, of the organizing team, knew him in advance. So probably he was converted through social media.
Yeah, maybe we had some people who came completely to social media, but with Ivan he knew people that we knew.
Oh really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's how he came. So people who are watching and they want to do events. I haven't read all about the 3Fs, family, friends, and
fools,
and fools that when doing the events. But in our case, I can say it's easier. The best way to operate when making events, organizing events, is to rely on people you know and deliver them an experience that they like, so they share about it with their friends, and their friends they share about with their friends,
Yeah.
and so we just grow like naturally from friend to friend to friend to friend, and we grow within the community we're targeting, and the community that we create a community from the community we grow from. So it's a very like dialectic relationship. So it's a two-way relationship. They influence us and we influence them, and we create like something that's like a whole, a community, a club. So that's a very special thing that I don't think very few organizations are able to do that, is create an authentic community. And that's the thing I think we're doing.
That's great, yeah. And just something to mention, like we actually did our first film festival last year during the summer, during July morning. It's a tradition here in Bulgaria where people tend to spend the last day of June all the way to the morning of July, and wait till the sunrise. It's like a very, I would say, old tradition. So basically, just as a call to action, our next 3-day film festival is going to take place in July 2024 from 5th till 7th. You can follow the Instagram account and you can check the website. Early birds ticket will be live by middle of March. So we would highly recommend to check it out. But why I'm sharing this, actually the thought just came to my mind, and I didn't want to forget it afterwards. Besides this, I think the event that we organized during the summer, it was a great success. Also, like, it was a hassle because I don't think any of us had like a proper experience in advance, like organizing a film festival, or an event that big. Like, we were expecting, I would say, we were preparing to host between 60 and 70 people. I think we had to improvise because we were out of accommodation, so we had to invite some of our friends to the yard and sleep in tents. I would say I learned quite a bit from it, and overall, just we can start about like the place itself, because the cinema, I think that in the last 20 years it
hasn't been, there wasn't a film projected there. Like, there hasn't been a film that was projected there for 33 years.
33 years, yes.
33 years, since 91. Since 1991.
Something super touching from it. There was like one senior person, and he really mentioned, like, after the opening day, that he met his wife in this cinema like more than 40 years ago. And just for this, I think it was well worth it.
Oh, we can speak maybe 10 episodes about the stuff. But let me bring like what the idea of the festival is. How I came up with the idea. And how we organized as a team, because that's very interesting, because everybody who's entrepreneurial, that's the main thing. You get an idea, and the entrepreneurial process, that's how I'm understanding it. The process is how to find people, resources, and how to make your idea into reality, how to project it into reality.
There were a lot of problems to solve.
There are still many problems to solve. There are only problems to solve. It's only problem solving. There's nothing else. Like, you have the idea, and everything regarding the idea are all problems. You can look at it as an opportunity, as a problem. It's all the same thing.
I think I kind of remember, but I want to listen to your part, how it all started, like the idea, because go on.
Okay. So the idea was like, we were having a chat with another person, like a friend of mine from the village, and we were speaking about it.
It's all good.
Of course.
Не, в качулку да се сложиш. Не. Изобщо не се личи.
So, how I came up with the idea for the festival. So it was, I have a friend from the village, like we know each other since childhood, Svetan said so. And we were just hanging out at the village, like one March last year. So March 22, 23.
23, yeah.
23, March 23. And I was talking to him about the cinema, because since I was a child, there was like the village, like there are 200 people in the village left. And you have this big cultural center there. You have the library, you have a cinema with 260 seats.
Yes.
It's like a city-sized cinema. It's huge. It's like a theatrical hall. Like you have the ceilings that are 7-8 meters high. Like this huge building. And I was never inside of it. I've never been inside of it. I've only seen it from the outside. Mm-hmm. And at this time, we were just speaking about that. And like I was asking my friend, has he ever been there? Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I've only been like as a young kid. And so, but like it was like some theatrical stuff, you know, like some magician stuff. There wasn't films. I'm like, and he's like, oh, like, do you imagine like doing cinema there? I'm like, yeah, like imagine doing a film festival there. You know, just, and he's like, oh yeah, let's do that. I'm like, yeah. Fuck it, let's do it. I mean, like...
And then we spoke, I remember when you were like, oh, I have this idea, and then you started speaking about it. Because actually my first time going to your village, you invited me to go there for a few days, like 3 years ago or so, and I fell in love like with the nature, with the people. Just the energy there was like...
Yeah, it's very special because it's up in the Rhodope Mountains. And it's a curse and a blessing at the same time. It's like very remote place.
Yeah,
I mean, you need like... Coming from our city, you need like at least 2 hours driving to the mountains, you know, driving
from the capital for
the capital 4 hours. And that's one thing is very hard to get there, which is like maybe a con, you know, because it's a hustle to get there. But on the other side, you get this feeling of remoteness, like being detached from humanity
the
in
hectic,
a sense. Yeah, from the hectic city, you know. It's like you're really far. You cannot go there just like, okay, I need to go back. No, you can't. You just go there and you stay there for the moment being. And it's all in the mountains, and there's like a very big natural park, like Karamush it's called. It's like...
Yeah, it's a natural park,
Yeah, natural park. And like around the village, like on one side there's like 20-30 kilometers of just bare wilderness, you know, nothing. And on the other side you have, again, like bare wilderness, but you have some villages that are like 100 people, 200 people, again into like 30-40 kilometer radius. You just have no civilization. And it's like very interesting to be like in a place like that and to have like the infrastructure, like all this like cultural center, the old school, the other places that we have in the village that are not being used by anybody. So maybe that was the opportunity, you know, like in entrepreneurial stuff, they talk a lot about opportunities. So that's the opportunity I saw, is that we have this material base of huge cinema, of there are like places like hotels, small hotels, that we have like 4 or 5 of them.
We rented, I think, like 3.
Yeah, we rented 2. I think 2.
But like
But they're more available.
I would say 3 because like the one of them was split into 2 different ones. So, 2, 3. No.
Yeah, 2, 3. And we have the capacity of like to accommodate 80 to 90 people. So while we already had the idea with my friend about doing a film festival, that's the opportunity that I saw that would make it attractive, is that we have this place that's remote, that you can find yourself, find God if you want, you know, like just nature, like be one with nature. That's the thing that was my first idea, my first conceptualization of the event, was to give an escape for people to be in nature, one with nature, and to have something to do while there, something cultural to do while there. And in this case, it was a film festival. And the opportunity that I had, like for speaking about material basis, we have this big cultural center that's not being used. There's only one library that's active.
Yeah, only the library is active, but I also remember, maybe it was like middle of March when we ended up there just to observe the place, to kind of prepare the stuff. Just from like logistics point of view, we had to do quite a bit, like painting the walls that are like 7-8 meters.
Yeah, it was a struggle.
Renovating.
Real struggle.
Totally worth it though.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about like how many man hours, like actual working hours, go into preparing something as small as painting a wall. You know.
Yeah, no, I think none of us was expecting it. Like I thought, oh, okay, we can do this like in 1-2 hours, and then it was like 2 days.
Yeah, yes.
Literally, like of people working non-stop because.
Yeah. So we have a framework for the talk. Like let's talk about like the opportunities we have, and then we can speak about the problems. Yeah. So the opportunity was we have all the spaces that we can use, and we have this remote place. And the other opportunity was that I personally feel, and we've talked about this, that in Bulgaria, even in cities, we have a shortage of cultural events that are like authentic cultural events, like organized by the community for the community. As banal and that it sounds, I think it's true. It's a cliche, but I think it's true. We offered something like that's completely authentic, so just a group of friends. Then that I had the idea to reach out to you, I reached out to your brother, I reached out to our friends.
Yeah.
So we basically organized like a group of friends, 7 people, I think.
Yeah.
That I just presented the idea to you, and you just
Let's
embraced it because you were already there, and you just you and Ivo, your brother, you've been to the village. Nicola, he has heard about it. Ivana, like our only girl, our special princess of the company, you know. And then we can speak about like organizational stuff, but that's
the things that we learned from it.
Yeah. So we just organized. We had the idea. I saw the opportunity. Then my biggest opportunity and biggest resource that I have for this festival are my friends. Like if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to do it because I have this idea and I shared it with you, and you like embraced it, and you had ideas of your own. And everybody has an idea of their own.
Everything,
Yeah, and combine everything. So that's the biggest richness that we have in our company, I think, is that I have this idea about the cultural event, but everybody has their own point of view and contributes from their point of view. And there's something very rich and very diverse that happens. And there are no bounds, there's a small framework about the event that we're doing, this cultural event, having films, artists, and people just coming, having fun. But everybody contributes like from what they feel like most like doing.
Yeah.
You know, so for somebody it's networking, for other one it's like, for Ivana, let's say, like it's or a lot of organizational stuff, a lot
the communicational part.
Yeah, about commercial stuff.
She did miracles with like sourcing the movies, and not only like with the logistics and the music. She did miracles.
Yeah. So where are we at this moment? So we're just 2 months before the festival. We just had the idea. We just organized, like we just come up with the plan. We came up this group of friends that we're gonna do this for July morning, 30th of June for the 1st of July. So we have all of these problems. So how are we gonna like organize the place? So we had to renovate the place in a way, like without budget. First problem, we were working without a budget.
Yeah, self-funded.
Self-funded. So with our self-funds, we have to organize the place. We have to do a marketing strategy, marketing campaign, you know, to find people who are interested in it. Then we have to find the accommodation and like what to do, which is another expense. Then we have to organize everything bureaucratically So we had to speak with the local government, with the local municipality about giving us
the space, the rights
to do it, like the paperwork, which was like just.
But thank God to the locals also, they contributed a lot, especially. Vatlubu and like all the others, people were like so engaged, and I for me, like as I'm not like from this village, it was really interesting just to see how when they saw our spark, our motivation, everyone was happy to help however they can, and they really did. And even like when we on the opening day, like it was Friday night, I don't know, the hall was like full, around 200 people or so, like not only from the village, from other close villages, and it
was emotional.
It
was something because so how we have this idea, so we started working towards realizing the idea. So from your viewpoint, like how did it happen? Because we needed to do the marketing campaign and everything, like making the place ready
Yeah.
and so on. Like how do you think we did it? Like, cause we had only 2 months and no money to do it.
Nice. It's nice to feel like a guest. Thanks for the question. So basically, I was a little bit afraid. I realized there were like quite a few problems, and also I wasn't quite sure how I didn't want to break our friendship or anything, because
That's another thing.
there was quite a bit of things to do, and the responsibilities were out there, and we didn't have like a clear plan, or at least I wouldn't say that we had a clear plan, but there were like so many obstacles throughout this executing
To
this
get
plan.
to the plan,
Yeah,
you know, to
like,
get there.
I don't know. For me personally, yeah, everything was a lesson learned, like from each step, all the way, like from sourcing the movies, then from like doing the marketing strategy, convincing people. Before this, renovating the building. None of us was expecting it to cost that much, or like to take that much time. We were preparing like for around a week, like in person, like hands-on, just to kind of rebuild paint the walls, fix this and that.
Yeah,
and
clean up. A lot of the local people help. So
yeah, I'm very,
the woman
very
that
grateful
works
for
in the
them.
library, like with her husband, which is one of our colleagues' parents.
Parents, yeah.
Yeah, they came,
They did
clean
miracles.
up everything that's in this huge building. They have a lot of people helped a lot. But Lubo with the electrician stuff, you know, he fixed the lights and everything. So there was a big involvement from the local people. So we can synthesize it, like what we were doing. So the thing we're doing a festival that is a cultural festival, which means like we give place for people, like we give a occasion for people like to showcase their work, whether it be artistic work, paintings, photography, whether it be films, whether it would
Books
be
also,
books.
there
We
was
had
a
a
big
book
exhibition,
presentation from a lady from our community. She's like a German teacher at a local, like a city that's nearby, like
Okay.
100 kilometers. So we had this thing happening. It was very interesting because for the book, there were only local people coming, but because of the event, there were also people from our side that were coming, and it was like something different. So we have this 3-day film festival that is made for young people to be able to showcase their work in a different place. That's the most novice thing, I think, is we have this village that nobody comes there, and we're giving a reason for somebody to come, for the young artists, for young people to come, and we're giving also like a new spark in the village.
Yeah, this was what I was going to say, that
You can synthesize
like
it.
maybe we indirectly boosted the tourism and like popularized like the place itself, because there aren't that many things actually happening there besides like every now and then some students go on vacation or something like this. And now like actually you kind of summarized like the festival, like the idea behind it and what it is, quite good. So I want just to say like what happened like after the festival. We realized that it was like a great success.
But why was it a great success? Like,
Because
can
of
you say it like in a few words? Like, what happened at the festival? Like,
At the
what
festival?
we had as events and how it went by?
No, I think we
And
kind
then
of
we
discussed the events and everything quite good. Like
Yeah,
I
because
think
the party was a big thing.
also yeah. Just come and you experience it this year. But yeah, we had like a week or two that we decided just to chill, not to rest after the event, and then afterwards we gathered, we spoke about it, we realized that all of us are somehow connected towards it, and decided to find an NGO. So yeah, from now what we're doing every now and then these small pilot events like in different cities
yeah.
with
Promotional
like promotion.
events.
Yeah, you can say promotional
But
events.
it's also like experiences, like okay, like
yeah.
get to do the job again and again and again, so we get better at organizing.
For example, like during was it October? I think it was October. There was one in Sofia around in the capital, around 100 people. There was like a treasure hunt game. Artists who
That was the first time we had musicians come by.
Yes, actually, yes. Our friends, thanks to them, thanks to Sergi and Dani and all of the other people that attended it. So yeah, just different activities, and yeah, our goal, like on the roadmap, is just to do these events every now and then, like I would say. And our main event actually is going to take place in July, from 5th to 7th. So yeah, we kind of want to spark interest in some people that, because as Alex said, there aren't that many things happening in
Even
at least in Plovdiv, yeah, or at least. No, I don't think there are that many. Like every now and then, yeah, there are these festivals, but none of them is exactly what we are aiming towards. So we kind of.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there are not as many events like this happening worldwide. I'm going to give you an example. You know, that's a big claim to make. That's a very big claim to make, and I can get like shut down or humbled. I can get humbled by somebody, but still. So let's say while I was studying at Glasgow, there was like, because I'm looking at the Facebook events. And there can be another episode just talking about marketing.
We'll do it next time.
Because it's very specific. So we had like a Rumi event. Rumi is like a medieval poet. So there were an event that was people in Glasgow coming to read Rumi poems and just do the practices with his dervish. So he's doing a specific type of dances. So the event was about doing dances and reading. And okay, there are events like happening all the time like this. But our event, we have like the poet aspect, we have the film aspect, we have the party aspect, we have the hiking aspect. So that's the thing that I think it makes us unique in a way. It's not that there aren't places, Bedouin, the Bedouin Lost Gypsy Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, something like this. But ours is more like, I don't know, it's many components from many different experiences that creates one big experience.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's something unique. It's truly unique.
I agree, and yeah. Well, let's kind of summarize, like not summarize, but let's jump from the topic. I want to speak a bit more about the importance of networking, because as you mentioned before, like how you ended up like here working with the team of Votegra. How important is like networking for you?
Well, for me personally, like completely from my experiences, like I've really recently found out how important is networking, because all my life I had many ideas. Let's say like when I was younger, I played guitar, so I wanted to make a band, but I didn't have the connections.
Okay.
And I didn't know where to make the connections. That was the biggest thing, like because I wasn't very outgoing. I was also outgoing, but I didn't have many friends, so I didn't know other people who played guitar. And at some point I found like 3 or 4 people, but I didn't find the other people. So like for me with networking is very important, but what is more important is like where the places that you find people to network with. So that's my biggest struggle, is how to find adequate places to find like-minded people.
For creatives, yeah, I would say like the place that actually hosted the event on Friday, Nectar
Creative Space is called. It's a new space. Yeah.
It's a new space, newly opened. I think its main function will be like hosting events and like exhibitions.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff.
can talk about
shout out to them and like partnering with us. We are really grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, so we can explore the topic through this example, you know, with the creative space. So the way we came into contact with Nectar was that your brother Ivo was at an event organized by, I don't remember by who, but it was some like mentorship program.
Okay, maybe,
And he met there with the owner, Petya, of
really?
the Nectar space.
Didn't know
and Ivo shared with her about the stuff we're doing. and she was like really keen to hear more about it and maybe even organize it at her place. So then we organized a talk with her. So we went for a cafe, like me, Ivo, and Petya.
Yeah.
And when I discussed like how, like what we do, and she discussed about her idea. So her idea about the place is to do workshops. So which was, and I found it very interesting because the summer festival, I really want to have a lot of workshops. So we have interesting stuff for people like to find. So maybe they find a new hobby at our place, you know, and still is something to do. And I was
this is something that like it's still work in progress. I would say that we want to do like actually more workshops, like hands-on things. For example, like developing films and like just showing all the process of like film photography. Our dear friend like Georgi Dojchev. We have to further speak with him.
So like that's what's very valuable about networking is like you can find like-minded people and find people who can be like a fuel for your idea to come into life. So the problem we had about the event we wanted to do here in Plovdiv was that first we have to think about it, but number one problem is find a space to do it. And Ivo, your brother, thanks to the networking event he went by, he got to know Petya, and then we had talks and she was keen to do it. And that's how we came to find the place. So I would say networking is maybe one of the biggest things into business and into everything, like into self-development.
I totally agree because back when we were in school, no one mentioned about it, or at least, like I was in a language school and I would never imagine that it was actually a thing. I was mainly going as like a solopreneur, like so to say, but the network is really important. So like just to wrap it up, I was like the podcast, like the episode itself. I was going to ask you for like one book recommendation.
Well, for me, that's a good question. I like speaking about books. Thank you for asking. Do you ask all of your guests about books?
Yes, for book recommendation, yes, and for events also.
Okay, you should put a thumbnail because I'm giving good recommendations. So I found myself, like when I was younger, I was reading a lot of non-fiction, which will stay here, historical stuff, so. Which is good, but it only gave me like facts about life and it didn't give me ideas. So then I switched to fiction stuff and I got really into novels. So I'm going to recommend 2 novels and give a very, very quick resume, like a synthesis like of these things. So the first book would be Karamazov Brothers by Dostoevsky. And the value I found in it is that it's a very big story about a family with 3 brothers and head of the family, you know, with the father, that all of them have different faiths and all of them have different moral standpoints, different views of life. But they're still a family and everybody does their thing and does something different and all of the brothers like take it in a different way. And so it's a like very rich book about human interactions and how different interactions create different outcomes in life and how different psychological values, let's say. I mean, like if somebody is more like outgoing, like he ends up in a different place in life, and if somebody is like more closed, he does different things in life, and that's a very like valuable book in this case. Is like how to like how people with different mindsets have different paths in life. And Dostoevsky gave a very good like psychological framework into different archetypes of people and how they operate in life, and everybody can find value in them. And the second book is that I found recently is by a Nobel Prize winner, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He's very famous, even your mother knows about him because I read the book when I talked.
Yeah, told me you spoke about it.
100 Years of Solitude. Incredible book, and I found value in it because for me, it gives through fiction a very accurate description of how a community develops, because it's about a certain adventurer that brings his people, his comrades, into the jungles of South America, and they find a village called Macondo. And in 100 years, the novel lasts the actual 100 years. You know, the small settlement becomes into a village, And then the Americans come by and start colonizing it. And then the government comes by because it was just a village in the jungle. And then it shows like how a certain community develops, how the rules are created, how the government came by and installed police and the priests, and how the mindset of the villagers changed and so on, and like the power struggle and the personal relationship, and how it develops like from a small community, like what relationships there exist in a small community and how it develops when becoming a big community. And it's very interesting for everybody that wants to grow a business is to read this book, you know, because it gives like a very like authentic viewpoint on like of a naturally evolving community. And a business is a community as well, because you have a community of people you know, of community like of people you work with, the market, and so on and so on.
Yeah, and one event that you are looking forward to, like this is my last
well,
question.
It cannot be nothing else than Zagrajden Film Fest 2024.
Yeah. I think we mentioned about it, like the dates are from 5th to 7th of July this year, and yeah, there are going to be tickets on our website, and you can contact us through Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
So besides that, any other events that are taking place?
Well, yeah, that's a thing that I am not doing enough. You know, like I'm not outgoing enough. I'm not going to events.
Okay.
So I have to be completely sincere and say I don't know. I want to go to some film festival. I want to go to some film festival. That's the thing.
There is going to be one near Oulu. I think it's happening like on a yearly basis, but I have to check. I don't know the dates. From what I've been told, it's taking place during the summer. So yeah, thank you very much for the chat. Thank you very much for listening, for checking out this video.
Yeah, it was not very concise. You know, we were all over the place.
Still,
But it's huge
next time, like I'm pretty sure there will be like a episode 2.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. But just.